neighborhood that we all share. We have an exciting lineup of speakers, artists, and performers who will share their stories and their work with you tonight. So, here we are in Dennigan Park, in the Olneyville section of the City of... okay, so that's a little zoomed out. Can we just come in maybe one... Okay, a little closer. Yeah, closer. Closer, we're getting there. Just one more. There it is! Dennigan Park, the land and the river, you, me, our community. We are part of a community, and this tent, this performance brings us together. Yes, we're part of the same community, and yet this is the only time that we will all be together in this precise arrangement, and isn't that weird? But how long has it been like this? This space, this region? Not very long. 500 years ago, this was all wetlands, inhabited by, as we just learned, a different kind of people. And those people were here doing something else. They were hunting, fishing, and farming, and living their lives. And those people we should remember. Because there is a good chance that at certain times, they too may have been sitting here in just this universal formation, just like we are, with you there, me here, and they might have been joined in a similar kind of ritual, a celebration of their community, an articulation of their aspirations, an offering of their collective questions to the universe. We know these people were here. Their ancestors are among us, but their histories were kept differently than our histories. Theirs were kept in stories and songs and were passed down orally, and many of those histories died with the near eradication of their culture in the American genocide. Much of our histories, on the other hand, are kept in books. And in our books, the old man says this place was settled, as it were, by Roger Williams, who, in 1636, found himself canoeing down the Seekonk River when he took a right and landed at a freshwater spring just south of the Woonasquatucket River. Of course, it wasn't called the Woonasquatucket then. Woonasquatucket was just a Narragansett word meaning where the salt ends. Not a river, but a geographical point.
While I was doing that, I was playing viola on the roof, like I said, and I was developing music based on the river because I grew up canoeing. My father didn't care to teach me about religion or work ethic or politics, but like having a really good canoe stroke was super important to him. So I had a really good canoe stroke. So I lower my canoe from the fire escape with a block and tackle, right where the Watershed Council offices are now, and throw it on the river and paddle down. And I watched the mall be built on that river. I paddled under it and saw that happen, and I felt bad about that, frankly. I'm sure it does great things for people, but it hurt me to see that. I hung out under bridges and listened to Gregorian chants during WaterFire, which seemed really surreal. But in my music, I was starting to try to find the flow of like how that felt to be on that river that like made my life what it is. And so what I'm gonna play, which honestly I haven't performed in like a long ass time, so it'd be cool, is some of the improvisations that I chewed on over that whole period of thinking about the river and thinking about where I was and playing music. And that's what I'm gonna try to do right now.
Williams had learned the Algonquin language, and in 1636 he struck a land use deal with two Narragansett sachems to establish the Providence plantations. With the execution of this initial deed, Williams distributed parcels of this land to 12 other Europeans, about 100 acres each, including a home lot, a tract of woodland, and a pasture for grazing cattle. Among these 12 was Thomas Olney, the first of many Olneys who would have an impact on this land. This may or may not be him. Thomas Olney was born in England and was trained as a shoemaker. He and his family had immigrated to Salem in 1635, but were kindly asked to leave due to religious differences. So Olney joined up with Roger Williams and served Providence plantations in a number of capacities, including as treasurer, court assistant, town councilman, clerk, assistant to the General Court of Trials, commissioner, justice of the peace, and tax collector. He was also on a subcommittee to prevent sale of ammunition to the Narragansett people, because yes, the colony was growing.
And so here's the great story that Munir tells about this one. He was painting this mural, and one day he was having lunch, sitting in his truck, and he looked out, and two does came out of the woods and started to inch along the mural. And when they got to that buck on the lower right-hand corner, they stopped and they stared at it. And Munir said that was the best response he ever could have hoped for his art. We also use art to educate kids. So this is an example of a storm drain mural that was done on the Greenway at the Paul Cuffey School. That's on Promenade Street. And the kids came up with this concept and painted it with the help of Brent Batchelder. And you can see it's Yoda saying, "Pollute we must not." We also have a wonderful crew of folks called River Rangers. They are our team that restores and protects the river. They take care of all the parks and all 7 miles of the Woonasquatucket Greenway. They're the guys and gals in orange over there. Shout out to the River Rangers. The River Rangers also bring a lot of art to the Greenway.
This is a little song written by the the Manton Avenue children called Courage.
Never be afraid to do what you dream to do. Don't